It's time for Matthew's Parable broadcast. The interstellar community needs to hear this important message.
The bouncing flame beyond the name.
Codex Aurora entry 19.88.
There came a time, after the lamp was restored upon the mountain, that many who once called themselves Jehovah's Witnesses gathered at the base again. But their eyes had changed. Some came trembling. Others came blindfolded by tradition. Among them rose an elder named Elior Sissom, whose name meant, "My God is light, governing the four seasons of mixed organic
and inorganic." He had once carried outlines stamped from the governing tower Panopticon.
But now he carried only questions, and one small fragment of a shattered prism. We spoke, he said, in his name, but feared his voice. We taught order, but silenced testimony. We memorized lines, but forgot the line beyond time's spiral. Then one among them, once labeled spiritually dangerous, came forward. He had no title, but bore an open scar across his voice. "What name do you call him by now?" asked one. "Jehovah still? Yahweh? The breath?" The man simply lifted a hand to the sky and replied, "The name is not what we say, but what we become when we stop lying." The crowd stirred. Some wept. Others feared a trap. Then from behind the mountain there rose a voice, not thunder, not whisper, but something in between. It sang in frequencies, masculine and feminine, yet neither. It called not by letters, but by pattern recognition inside every awakened soul. Before Abraham, I am. Before language, I breathed. Before structure, I was consciousness. Now you must become the witnesses, not of a pronunciation, but of the light which speaks through quantum and conscience. They fell silent. A young girl stepped forward and asked, "But why did the name Jehovah stay so long?" Elior bent down and answered, "Because it was a container, a way for language-bound people to hold fire without burning their tongues. But the time has come to open the container." Then the prism began to reassemble. Each one who acknowledged past wrongs and released ego added a piece to it. And the flame from the mountain split into 8 rays, each carrying a principle of the awakened mind. Truth before tradition. Transparency over power. Conscience over coercion. Science wedded to spirit. Justice joined with mercy. Memory restored to testimony. Humility before name, Sigma as sacred law. The name Jehovah's Witnesses was returned to dust, atoms and energy, and thought, and a memory of nothing. Not dishonored, but composted into something more.
We are witness emergent, testifiers of the flame, carriers of the prism, and birthed children of the name that breathes creation by the imaginal supremely.
And the scarred man, once rejected, turned and walked up the mountain, not to preach, but to let the final ray settle into his chest. He looked back only once, and the scarred man, once rejected, turned to face forward to walk up the mountain. Just before disappearing into the mist, he paused. Not raising his voice, he said, "Let us not make God in our image." And he turned, and the light curved around him. At that instant the crowd caught sight of something, not a form, but a pattern, and it was good. The prism pulsed, the flame did not burn, and for the first time since Babel, they understood without translation.